What's up, everyone? It's Coach here, and I'm coming to you with another Deadzone video. And I got a lot of good response and a lot of good feedback on the last video, and that was the one just going over the beta and whatnot. And we got some of the rules committee, so if you guys are watching this, welcome. I'm looking forward to more comments below. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go over the Army Faction Special Rules. That's when you roll the command dice and you get the Mantic Splat, and we're just going to go over it. But when I was looking at them, there was a few different things that I used as kind of what I felt made them good and what made them not good. So I kind of came up with five things to compare them, and is it worth the leader? So the first thing I do is how much does the leader cost? All right, if the leader is too much, it might not be worth it. The second thing is the tactician. How many command dice does he get or her get? That was a big one, okay, because it's either they get 2 extra dice or 1 extra dice. So that's a big deal right there. Number 3 was how many victory points does this model cost? So by having a leader, a lot of the missions, if you check the other video, we go over the missions. How many victory points will you give up if that leader is killed? Now let's say your leader is worth 3 or 4 victory points, or 5 victory points, and your opponent has a mission that kills that leader and doubles it. So right there, that's 10 points. That's halfway, almost, halfway or more than halfway to victory points for the game. So yeah, that was very important to figure out. Okay, how does this rule, number 4, was how does this rule fit into your faction? And what I mean by that is, if you're taking a shooting army and your rule is, for an assault army, it doesn't fit. Or if you're one of the Forge Fathers, it's not in this one, I'm glad they took it out, but one of the previous ones was you roll the dice, and if you have a vehicle, that vehicle will be repaired. Well, what if you don't take any vehicles? So it just didn't fit. So you want to take the leader, but it doesn't fit. So that was the main thing. And the 5th one was, what is the recon value? 3+, 4+, or 5+. Okay, 3 is the best, 4 is your middle ground, and 5 is starting to get not too good. All right, so those are the 3. So those are the 5 different things that I thought of when I'm looking at this. And what you'll see is, as I break everything down, you will see that these things come into factor, and what I feel is a good army rule, what's not a good army rule, what is good. Sometimes the leader is so good and the army rule is so good that it's worth it to take that leader. Sometimes it's not. So stay tuned. We're going to break it down faction by faction. Okay, first faction we're going to cover is the Plague. All right, and Plague Stage 1 is big dude. We all love him. Let's see what he's all about. All right, so going with 5 points. First thing, he's 36 points. Okay, large, speed 1/1. Got no shoot stat, fight stat 3+, 4+ survive, size 3, armor 2, 4 victory points. And he only has the range F talons, which is an AP 1. He's a tactician 2, and he is tough. All right. Let's talk about his recon, which is a 5+. All right. His rule is mutation. When you spend the army point, you get to modify 1 model for the rest of the round. You're going to roll a D8. Okay, here we go. 1 to 2, it's agile. 2 to 4 is frenzy. Frenzy +1, I'm sorry. 5 to 6, increase AP of run range F weapon by 1+. Increase, and 7 to 8, increase armor of the model by 1+. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these are awesome. I love these special rules. Okay, I did a video about how to make your tokens awesome. You take a white crayon and you basically fill it in. Okay, if you're interested, you can go check it out. I'll put a link to it. Had these tokens. I love the acrylic tokens by Mantic. Right, we use them for every game, everything, the mutations, the wounds, everything. Then the mutations were taken out. So now we don't use our tokens, but in the same thing, we don't use our tokens. But now there's no mutations. The mutations was made the Plague special. Here, they brought the mutations back, but the mutations are all awesome. There was a time where running a Plague list, you take really low models just in case you get the necrosis or the mutation that made them vulnerable, made them slow. It just Now you can really do something. You can give a slow model agile, and I mean slow because slow the rule is not in anymore. But you can give a 1/1 model agile, and then you can be pretty good. Frenzy, increase the AP by 1, increase the armor by 1. This is phenomenal. This is a great rule. So let's go on to the stage 3 plus. Stage 3, the general. Okay, he is 16 points. Okay, movement is a 2/3, 6 plus shoot, 5 plus fight, 5 plus survive. Size 1, armor 0. He's only 2 victory points, and he's a tactician 1. Recon is a 4 plus. All right, so let's compare. Okay, the stage 1 is 36 points. He is 20 points more than general, which is 16. He is a tactician 2. He is a tactician 2. All right, so you're getting 1 more command dice, which, as we all know, if you played, is very, very important. Okay, how many victory points? Stage 3A, he's 2. Stage 1 is 4. Okay, so it's more victory points there. How does it fit into the faction? Well, infection. Okay, the armor special rule is infection. All right, it's a recon test of 4 plus. Okay, and basically to sum it all up, when you kill a model, use this rule, use the splat, put it on the guy. He becomes a zombie. He's pinned to begin with, comes up, and he becomes part of your faction. So basically, you're spreading the disease, you're spreading their infection, and you bring back a zombie. That's counted as part of your Plague Strike team. Okay, so now, like I was saying, getting back to it, comparing the two. As far as rules are concerned, the mutation rule to me seems like a really, really good rule. It's just far and away surpasses infection. Okay, the generals 3A generals rule infection is very cool, but as we were playing it and as we were using it, they really never the zombie really didn't come into effect. It was a pinned model that we would just shoot or we would just kill in combat, and the zombies are just so cheap. All right, a zombie is 6 points. Just take a bunch of zombies, use them in your list. Okay, that's the way I see it. The stage 1A, even the model got better. I know he's 36 points. 4 plus survive, size 3, armor 2, tough, 4 victory points. But he's a beast. He's a combat monster, and I mean, you got to get him up there. You got to get him up there. You got to use your dice to get him up there if you're going to use him. But the thing is this is probably one of the most resilient leaders in the game. So by far and away, I think the 1A mutation is the way to go. Take the leader. That's where I see it. The 3A, if you want to take a bunch of other stuff, you want to use that for your 20 points towards something else. But you got to remember, some Plague is so cheap. You can get a lot of stuff for a little bit amount of points, and a small amount of points. 36 points, not too bad for the 1A. So, Coach, my humble opinion, I love the 1A, love the model, love everything he is now. He's so much better. So, just take the 1A, go with it. That's the way to go. Okay, here we go. We're talking enforcers. Okay, enforcers. Now, all the games I've played, I always seem to they draw me back to the humans. Playing 40K, started off as a Space Marine player. Different games that are out there. Anytime I play a new game, I'm always kind of drawn to these guys. Now, I do run the Forge Fathers. I love the Plague. I love the Orcs. But these guys always seem to pull me back in. In the earlier betas that we had, or that we were play testing, the enforcers had some really good rules, and it seemed like everyone that came out was something different. So I don't know if they were playing with it, they were testing it, but they got it right. They put everything in. All the tumblers fit into place. All the gears are ready to go. It's really the way to go. So we're going to go through it one by one. We have 4 different leaders that we can choose from with 4 distinct rules, and we're just going to go through it. We're going to tear it apart. All right. Okay, the Enforcer Captain. He's 34 points. Speed 1, 2, shoot 4, fight 5, survive 4, size 1, armor 1, 4 victory points. Okay, get the usual loadout: the pistol, the energy gauntlet, and the jump pack. He's Tactician 2, 2 dice, 5 plus recon. I'm sorry, 4 plus recon. He is stalwart. Enforcers are famed for their resilience and stubbornness. You may spend the special result on your command dice to immediately roll any number of your dice on a survive test. That is very good. I like that one. I like that one a lot. So you can take a splat and re-roll any dice on a survive test. Imagine you get a few 8s in there and just keep rolling. That is the strong, awesome rule. Okay, let's go to the next guy, the Sergeant. He's 28 points. All the same stats. Everything's the same, other than he is getting 3 victory points. So you're getting 3 victory points with a Tactician 1, so only 1 extra dice. Okay, 4 plus recon, mobile infantry. Spend an army special rule at the beginning of a model's activation. The model's equipped with a jump pack. They all have a jump pack except for the Pathfinders, and they do not have the vehicle special ability. It may make a free sprint action. The model may not take a second sprint action or a move action this activation. Okay, the way I see that is you're going to use that. You're going to move your guy up. You're going to give him a free sprint action. But the thing is that after that he can't move. So you sprint him up. He still has 2 activations. But you can't shoot. You can't blaze away and shoot and whatever. So that's a little clunky. I'm not too sure how to use that. I haven't tried it yet because this is brand new. But it is what it is with that. Let's move on to the Peacekeeper Captain. All right, so now he's a little different here. We go 48 points. Okay, he is a 1 to 2, shoot 4, fight 5, survive is 3, survive 3, size 2, armor 2, 5 victory points. He's got a lot of victory points, but he is Tactician 2. You're getting 2 command dice. All right, 4 plus recon. Okay. Bastion. You may spend the special result in your command dice to add +1 armor to a model for a single attack. You must decide to spend this command dice before the attack is rolled, and the only 1 dice can be spent per attack. All right, so basically, you're being attacked. You say, all right, you know what? I want to increase my armor +1. Let's say you have a Peacekeeper, which is armor 2. You give him a shield, which is armor 3. Use this, armor 4. 4 armor. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay? Tactician 2, Peacekeeper. You have a really resilient leader here. All right, let's move over to the Pathfinder Sergeant. Now, when the Pathfinder Sergeant's previous betas were out and they had the rules, basically they were giving them, making in general, the tag special rule. But now we have something special. Right? He is 22 points. He's a leader. 4 plus shoot, 5 plus fight, and a 4 plus survive. Size 1, armor 0, but he's 3 victory points. Only comes with a pistol. Tactician 1. All right. 3 plus recon. So that, like I said, best in the game right there. Target acquisition. You spend an army special result in command dice to mark an enemy model as a target for the rest of the round. Okay. The model is treated as though it has been marked as a target by a model using the tag ability. This does not require line of sight and does not count as an action. So if I'm reading this correctly, at the beginning of the round, you're going to use the splat and you're going to tag somebody with it. And then everybody can get a extra shot on him. Now, if you have the tag ability and you light him up, okay, you tag him and he's marker lighted, he's lit up, would you get 2? I think you get 2 for it. So now a regular enforcer, a guy with a pistol, a guy with a missile launcher, what have you, would get an extra dice on the guy has target acquisition on him. That's pretty good, man. You get a sniper up top, give him a +2 for sniper, give him +1 for being up top. You target acquisition him, get another plus for that. You could do some real damage on this, man. Even with the tag rifles. Tag rifles, getting a +1 plus this target acquisition, pretty good. Pretty good. 3 plus recon. So let's break it down. The enforcer, when I was first playing enforcers in the first dead zone out of the box, I was using the Sergeant. The Sergeant came with an energy gauntlet, which at the time was a +1, okay? And it was just he was low points and he had everything you needed, okay? I'm thinking that between the two, the Enforcer Sergeant and the Enforcer Captain, you go with the captain. All right. The stalwart rule is better. Okay. The captain and the sergeant are only, we're looking at 6 points higher. Okay. He is one more victory point. All the stats are the same. The only thing is you're getting the extra combat dice, and the stalwart special rule is just that much better. So I'm liking the captain. The peacekeeper captain. Now we're talking points here. He has 48 points as opposed to the captain's 34 points. But you're talking about a size 2 armor 2 model with a 3+ survive. Okay, he's got a 3+ survive. Comes with wrist blade, and it comes with the Dominator rifle, or the double laser rifle, what they're calling it now, but it's the old Dominator rifle. And he's a tactician 2. So for 48 points, you're getting a really, really, really good, and a leader who's going to be sticking around. If you play it right, you're going to stick him around. The only drawback is 5 victory points. But with all the stuff he gets, everything he has with the weapons and everything, and the 3+ survive with the 2 armor, you're looking pretty good, man. You're looking pretty good. And with his rule, you add an extra armor to it, armor 3, it's going to be tough getting through. You know, if you get those, even those high AP weapons or the weapons without any AP, you'll be sticking around for a while. So I like that a lot. The Pathfinder Sergeant. I wasn't too crazy about the Pathfinders originally, but now with this rule, right, 22 points, 3+ recon, only 3 victory points. The only thing, the drawback is no armor, but Tactician 1. Tactician 1 and no armor make me a little leery, but the special rule, the target acquisition rule, is really, really good. So, in my mind, the way it looks, I'm thinking the Enforcer Captain with the Stalwart rule is very good. The Peacekeeper Captain with the Bastion rule. Even take the Pathfinder Sergeant. The Pathfinder Sergeant for 22 points, target acquisition. You can't go wrong with that. I am not too crazy about the Sergeant. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know. The mobile infantry rule, just, if you could figure out a way to use that, I would love. Send a comment below. Send me a message on either Facebook or through Family Gamers on YouTube. But I see that the other 3 are really good. So with all the 5 things coming into effect, I'm thinking the Captain, the Peacekeeper Captain, and the Sergeant, Pathfinder Sergeant, are ready to go because you could build a force around them. So that's the breakdown of it. I really like what they've done with the Enforcers. They've given them their due, and I really, really can't wait to see what people come up with, the different lists and whatnot. So, like I said, great job with the Enforcers. All right, so next faction we're going to do is the Revs. And what I did was I brought Andrew in because he's a Rev player. He is keeping the faith with the Revs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the faction rules. And we're going to go over it in the 4 ways that I've been breaking them all down. So the first one we're going to discuss is the Rebel Commander. Now, the Rebel Commander is 28 points. Decent stats, okay? No armor. She has 3 victory points, long rifle, and a Tactician 2. Okay, so that's where it is. Here's her rule. It's always short. You can spend an army special result at your command dice to place a new random item face down in an unoccupied cube that is adjacent to the active model. This does not count as an action. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, and they got a 4+ recon test. That's what I forgot to lay out. So, now, what do you think?
I'm not too crazy about that, but, you know, it could work. It could work.
It's not tactically sound. It doesn't help you in that it makes your army stronger or gives them anything special.
Unless, like, you get a grenade or AP ammo.
Right, yeah.
It won't really help if you get anything else. I mean, maybe you get intel.
If you're lucky enough to get the intel, then you're okay. But
yeah.
it just seems like it's trying to go back to the scour mission, and if you pull the scour mission and you got to pick the stuff up and whatever. You know, if an intel or something you need is there, a grenade or whatnot, it's pretty good. But
yeah, I'm not too crazy.
Not too crazy. As far as the other ones, like compared to other army special rules, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So
that's the Rebel Commander. Now, next one is the Yindij Infiltrator Commander. He's got a 5+ recon, and his stats are not bad. He's got 2 victory points. Okay, he does have Tactician 1, which gives you one extra command dice. He has agile and scout. Scout, I don't know if you'd ever scout up your leader, but there's no reason for that. Now, here's their rule. Hide in the shadows. You spend an army special result at the end of the model's activation phase. The active model slinks into hiding. For the rest of the round, this model cannot be targeted by a shoot action and cannot have line of sight drawn to it. The model is still affected by abilities that target every model in the cube, such as frag, indirect, it burns, or bless, and can still be the target of a fight action. So what that all means is you get out, you can shoot, use this army special rule on them, and they're almost invisible to everything. But like if something comes into the cube and the cube is on fire and they get caught by it burns, they're going to affect it. Or if somebody jumps into the cube and sees you there. But basically, you're almost like you put on. It reminds me kind of like Predator puts on the stealth suit and goes like that. So what do you think about that?
That's a pretty good one.
That's a pretty good one.
I like that.
So now this is the way I'm looking at it. This rule is far better than the one before.
Yes.
Okay.
They gave the better model to the
better rule.
The better rule to the okay model, and the okay rule to the better model.
Right.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. The thing is that so here's the differences: the commander and the Yindich infiltrator. The commander has a 4+ recon. Yindich has 5+. Her stats are a lot better. She's got a 3 shoot, 5 fight, 5 survive. He's got a 5 shoot, 4 fight, 5 survive, no armor. Okay, he's only worth 2 victory points. She's worth 3. The only thing is you are getting a extra command dice, but she's more able to be killed. I think by giving him he could use this command action on himself, and he'll be safe. You can almost never kill the leader other than in combat or blast him off the table or getting him into it burns situation.
Yeah, it's I kind of like that rule. I mean, they both could work, but the infiltrator one's a lot better.
Yeah,
and I think.
See, I look at all the other things that the 4 things I'm looking at, but that rule is just so good. It surpasses that one so much that it's so much better. So yeah, all in all, I think the Yindich that's the better leader to take. But I mean, I could see the Rebel Commander using some of the stats, but in general, I think you're better off with the infiltrator.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing our talk about Deadzone with the special faction rules, and I brought in Andrew as a fellow Marauder player. Mm-hmm. We're going to go over the Marauders special rules, faction rules. All right, so let's go right from the get-go. The Commando Captain's 22 points. He's got 6'4", size 1, 0 armor. He's worth 2 victory points. He's got Tactician 2. All right. His special rule is, he's got a recon dice of 3. He's a tactical genius. When you spend your army special rule, the active model may immediately use and discard one of your opponent's move, shoot, or fight command dice results. The result may only be played once per activation, and the active model may not also use move, shoot, or fight command result from the owning player's command dice pool. Okay, so basically, you can only do it once. So I think if you're rolling and you say you roll all 5 of your command dice and you get 1 splat, or if you get more than 1 splat, you re-roll it. But and it's only move, shoot, or fight. But what do you think about that?
That's dirty. That's a dirty rule.
That's very dirty.
Like those command dice are pretty useful in the game, and if they're important in the game, and if you take away one of those, it's kind of a big deal. It seems,
especially if you're waiting for your turn to go, and you say, okay, what I'm going to do? Oh, I have it all set up. I'm going to move here, use a move dice, or I'm going to get into this area. I'm going to shoot here, and then I'm going to use a shoot action, shoot here, or I'm going to fight the guy twice or whatever. So it kind of puts a monkey wrench in your plans. I think that's a very good one.
Yeah, okay. I like that. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go on to the Commando Sergeant, 4+ recon. He is 18 points, so he's 4 points less than the captain. Stats are not bad. It's 5'4", size 1, no armor. Okay, and he's got 1 victory point. He's a tactician 1, so you only get 1 extra victory dice. His special rule is by the numbers. When you spend the army rule, you may reroll any normal test made by a model with the commando in their type. So basically, if you have a commando sergeant, which is himself, a regular commando, or a commando specialist, you can reroll any test with the commando in their name. It doesn't say how many times you can or can't use it, so if you get 3 of them, you can use 3 of them. And the only other ones, like the Moorbeast, the snipers, the skyscraper guy, the Ripper Mauler, the Hulk, the guntrack, Stunbot, all that stuff doesn't get it. So your basic troops. Yep. The sergeant's leading the troops. He's going to be able to do that on there. What do you think of that?
That's also a pretty good one. Just bring a commando army. It's not bad if you're taking like 5 commandos.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're gonna take a bunch of Moorbeasts, but you're gonna stick a bunch of commandos, maybe commando specialists in there, because the commando specialist is not bad because for 14 points he gets an HMG. So if you're taking Moorbeasts as troops, you're gonna take a regular commander with an HMG as a specialist, and that also has the pinning special rule. Okay.
And it's reroll any normal test.
Right.
That's
So you can use anything you want.
Fighting, shooting, survive. That's not bad.
Right.
It's not a bad rule either.
Now that's very tactical. You're going to try to figure out when, where, and why to use it. Okay. So that's the commando sergeant. Now let's go to the warlord, the marauder warlord. He's the most expensive. He's 26 points. He's got a 5 shoot, 3 fight, 4 survive. He's a size 2, so he's getting the extra wounds in there. He's got a heavy pistol, weight of fire, and he's got the claw, which I think is an AP1 claw. He is tactician 1, so you only get 1 extra dice, but he's tough. All right, so here's his special. He has something, 5+ for the recon test. He has the green rage. When you use it, the armor special result to give frenzy 4 to a model for the rest of that round. You may spend this dice before taking any fight test. If the model already has frenzy, then the higher of the 2 values is used. So this is the only place where where you can't stack them. But frenzy 4 is pretty good. I don't know if you have to stack it any more than that. So green rage.
That's not bad either.
Mm-hmm.
They're all pretty good. It's just I think green rage is pretty good too. Frenzy 4 is not bad.
Frenzy 4 is really good. Really
yeah.
Good. My thing is, it depends. If you're going to take a combat heavy army, warlord army, marauder army, you take the marauder warlord, he's going to give you that. But you also, now, he's the most expensive, 5+ recon, and he's only got tactician 1. He is a little bit more expensive than the sergeant, and he is 4 points more than the captain. So is he worth it? This is a guy, you don't want to keep him in the background. You want to get him up there with a 3+ fight and size 2, 4+ survive. So I don't know. I guess it depends on your build. I mean, what are you thinking? Which one?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it depends on how you build your army. Which you would take and stuff like that.
The marauders, all the marauders themselves are cheap enough where you can really start to build any kind of army you want, without. I mean, you could add some crazy weapons later on, but basically, in general, they're cheap enough where you can tailor it to anything you want. You're not kind of curtailed. So now, if you do take a 26 or a 22 point leader, it's not going to kill you. An extra 4 or 5 points here and there, you could find somewhere else in here. Even with the Moorbeasts going from like nothing to 12 points. Now I know increasing the points for the Moorbeasts was tough, but definitely 12 points is exactly where they need to be.
Yeah.
That's a good. I think that's exactly what they should be. They should be 12 points. I don't know. I like it. I like all 3 of them.
Yeah, I like all 3 of them. I think tactical genius is just dirty.
Mm-hmm.
By the numbers is pretty good if you run a commando army, and then the green rage is pretty good if you're running a combat list. So it's kind of they're all good in their own way.
Right.
It depends on how you want to run it, really.
Yeah, it depends on what you want. But, this is a serious... One is better than the next. The only thing is with Tactical Genius, you can only use it once.
Yeah.
That's the only drawback I see to it. It's very good, but it also is... that's the only drawback. But then again, the Commando Captain has a 3+ recon. So you're going to probably win initiative. So... Out of most of the armies, these 3 are all good. They're all really good. I really like them.
I really like them too. They're pretty good, yeah.
All right, guys, so that's the Marauders. Okay, next faction we're going to go into is the newest faction that's coming out with the Deadzone Infestation Kickstarter, and it is the Veermen, okay? So the Veermen got some cool rules, new models. Everything is new. Everything is new. There's some stuff from Warpath, but basically everything is new. So let's get right to it, okay? The big one is the Brood Mother. She is 38 points. She has a speed of 1 to 2, 5 shoot, 5 fight, 4 survive, size 2, armor 2, 4 victory points. All right. She's Tactician 2. She's got some cool AP1 weapons. She got a Chem Staff, which is range 1 AP1 weapon. It burns. You got the claws and everything. 4+ for the recon test, and her rule is Bodyguard. So essentially, if you have a creeper or a stalker, they can basically just jump in front of the Brood Mother for a shooting attack. So they'll take the wounds instead of her. So it is that's a pretty good rule. I like that one. It's not too bad. All right, let's go to the next guy, which is the Progenitor. He is 30 points. He's got a speed of 2-3, shoot 5, fight 5, survive 4. So all the same stats as the Brood Mother other than the speed. Size 1, no armor, only 3 victory points as opposed to 4. He has a ray gun, which is range 4 with weight of fire 1. Okay, and I think that's about it for him. He is a Tactician 1, so you only get 1 command dice. Okay, 3+ recon though, 3+ recon. Here is his special rule. It is Surge. Surge is a model that's already been marked as activated at the start of this turn. May move action up to 1 cube. This may trigger as fight as normal. That is dirty, ladies and gentlemen. Dirty, 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 but awesome. So you have your whole army goes. You get 2 or 3 of the Mantic Splats. You will use them to reactivate or just get them going again. And it can fight again. Okay, so Surge, that goes back to the fact that these are the guys with the rats. Maybe they do something. Maybe they... they finish fighting, they finish shooting, and then you can reactivate them again. Think about it. A double reaction or double whatever on a rat is pretty awesome. Okay, so they've done their actions, and now you get another 2 actions. You reactivate them. Just think about that for a second. And it doesn't have to be just the crawls or stalkers. You can do the creepers, the nightmares, the night terrors, rumbler weapons platform. Your tangle can go twice. There's just, it's ridiculous. So let's break it down, all right? So the Brood Mother's 38 points. Basically same stats. She's a little bit more survivable, right? With an armor 2, Tactician 2, Bodyguard special rule, people jumping in front of her. Even though her fight stat is a 5+, she's got some cool weapons. She's got it burns and everything, so it's not too bad. She's 4 victory points. But the Progenitor's 30 points. Moves better, all the same stats. Size 1, no armor. That's a little bit tough right there. 3 victory points. But the Surge is a pretty good rule also. So the Brood Mother, she's more survivable, but the Progenitor, you never know. He's a little bit less survivable, but it's got a cool rule. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, they're right in the middle, depending on what you're going to do with your strike force. You could spam out some of these guys, but then again, if you take some of the elite guys for the Progenitor, and they could have them go twice, that's pretty awesome. All right, maybe one of these nightmares, or the the night terror with the sights. 4+ fight. Nightmare's got a 4+ fight. That's pretty good. The tangle, if you're gonna do some psychic powers, you do it twice. It's pretty good. So right now I'm a little torn. I think they're both pretty good. They're okay. The Progenitors is a little bit more in your face, tactically better. I feel. it's a little bit more of a tactically, for the army, as opposed to the Broodmother, who hers is just specifically for her. Okay, so you're wasting a guy, or he's taking the shots for her. It only affects her, and the Progenitor affects the strike team. So in a way, in my mind, it's a little bit better that way. Okay, but then again, she's more survivable. She'll stick around, and you'll always have those 2 extra dice. So, it's a tough one. It's a toss-up, but I'm nudging towards the Progenitor. I kind of like it, but both are pretty awesome. Very good. Very Veerman-like, like for the fluff and whatnot. So, in my opinion, both are pretty good, but I'm thinking Progenitor's better. Okay, next we're going to start with the Asterians. And the Asterians are one of the newer factions that came out with the Forge Fathers in the original Deadzone game, the first version of Deadzone. So now what we're looking at is they have the 2 new rules. They have some, the same leaders, and you got to think about them, because I think the Asterians is the true finesse army. If you're going to play Asterians, you got to know what you're doing as far as you're going to do tactics, which every faction does, but this you have to be tactically sound, and the leader that you pick will influence how you play this. So this is what we're going to go over. All right, so the first one is the Overseer. Okay, he is a speed 1/2, fight 5, shoot 5, fight 5, survive 5, size 1, armor 1, 3 victory points. All right, he's got a knockback charge glove, knockback staff of command, which is the energy pulse is range 1, the knockback staff is a combat 1, and he also has an energy shield of 3, so that's very good. And he's a tactician 2. The Asterian Overseer's got a 4+ recon. All right, we're all right. Wheels within wheels. You may spend an army special rule on your command dice to discard any one of your opponent's command dice. This does not count as an action. Whoa, it's dirty. It is so dirty. I love it. I love it. Get right in there. Let's say you have 3 splats. You can actually annihilate your opponent. You can take 3 of them out. Oh my God, that's great. That's a crazy one. Love it. Love it. And that's the Overseer's 30 points. Let's go to Cypher Prime. Cypher Prime is 24 points. 1, 2. Same thing. He's got no shoot stat. This is a combat guy. 4+ fight. 4+ fight's good. Okay. 5 survive, which is okay. Size 1, armor 1, 2 victory points, so 1 less than the Overseer. He's got a light blade, which is a range F, AP 1. He's got an energy shield of 4. Energy shield of 4. The thing is, he's a tactician 1 construct, so he can't be pinned. He's got a toxic smoke screen, but he's vulnerable. Okay, vulnerable. 1 shot, 1 kill. That's tough. That's tough. Cypher Prime Overcharge. Spend an army special result at the start of a model's activation. Target model's no rifle gains the rapid fire and weight of fire 2 until the end of its activation. Good. Very good. 5+ recon on him. I'm sorry. All right. I really like both of the rules. Wheels within wheels. You take any army. You take any kind of faction build, and you can use this. Okay. I know myself playing, if I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do this, all right, I'm going to use the move for him, and then I'm going to use a shoot for him because I want him to shoot twice. And those are both eliminated, and maybe one other one, it's really going to destroy my army. So it destroys my my tactics, or what I'm going to do in the next turn. So right now, that's really good. Overcharge. If you're going to take the Cypher Prime, you take a bunch of guys with no rifles, because you're going to overcharge no rifles, give them weight of fire 2 and rapid fire. So you're increasing that. So you take a lot of guys with the no rifles. You wouldn't take a lot of specialists, because you can give them a no rifle. Their shoot stats are not better, because you want to give them the cool. The Asterian's got the most amount of guns, so that's what you want to do with those guys. The only thing is that Cypher Prime, he's vulnerable. I don't understand. He's a combat monster. He doesn't have a shoot stat. He only has a 4+ fight, which is excellent, but he's vulnerable, and that vulnerable scares me. It does. It's tough. I mean, he's got the energy shield of 4, so you got to roll them 6s. Could work. I mean, I was playing one of the guys in the group, Hot Dice, and he was. I mean, I was tearing him up. I was tearing his Asterians up. But he was using shield generators and energy shields and stacking them. And the wounds, you know, he was rolling his survive test and he wasn't getting them, but he was rolling 6s like a champ when it came to energy shields. So I don't know, but you know, you're going to have to, when you're going to take the Cypher Prime, you're going to have to figure out how to use your energy shields and your toxic smoke screens. You know, how are you going to use those things to save this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's just really, like I said, this is the finesse army. Both rules are really good though. Both rules are really good. You know, like I said, the Overseer, the only thing I like about him, you get an extra command dice. He's got all this cool gear and whatnot. He's survivable, and he's got an armor 1, 3 victory points. Wheels within wheels, taking the command dice is really good. So, Cypher Prime, take a lot of ciphers, take a lot of you know, the drones. You can take a bunch of drones, even though, you know, well, the drones, they're still, you know, fight. I'm sorry, a shoot of 5, but the ciphers, you know, for the points, 15 points, 3+ shoot. You overcharge their no rifles, could be damaging, could be pretty good. And you know what? You take a bunch of them. They are troops. They are troops, so you can take an unlimited amount. I mean, you know, we've been playing it. If you've been watching the videos or listening to the Deadzone podcast, we've been saying, I've been a big proponent of the 200 points because you get a lot of stuff in there, and it's not that many guys. You take 10 ciphers at 150 points. You don't have to give them nothing. You don't give them anything extra. That's a lot of models. Energy shields. So, all right, you're shooting them off, and they are 2 victory points apiece. They're not very survivable, just for the simple fact that you know, they do have the toxic smoke screen, and they are vulnerable. But you know, you're talking about massive amounts of firepower. So you know, way to fire 2. It's really good. Like I said, this is the finesse army. What do you think? What do you think? I really like both of them, but myself kind of going to the Overseer because you can get a little bit more of a you can get a mixed army. But like I said, it's the Cypher Prime with a bunch of ciphers. Even the marionettes. Marionettes are 10 points each. They're constructs with a no rifle. 10 points apiece. Their shoot stat is a 5 as opposed to a cipher, which is 6, but they are 1 victory point. So we're getting to army builds. But here's the thing. Think about what you want to do with it and use that leader to do what you think is best with that. Okay? But I really like these Asterians. My nephew bought a bunch of Asterians. We're going to be doing battle reports, and I think I want to help. We're going to be helping each other, and I'm going to help him to figure out what's the best build for this. Because the Asterians, there's something there. We just got to figure it out. That's the whole point of this hobby. That's what makes it exciting. Because honestly, the net list and stuff out there just makes it boring. So this is a good way to figure it out and get tactically crazy with it. So good job with the Asterians. I really like them. Right now I'm on the fence. Depending on what you're taking, is who you're taking. Okay, let's talk Forge Fathers. Okay, my favorite faction. I'm going to be a little biased. Honestly, I'm going to be a little biased here. Okay, so here we go with the first Forge Fathers, Steel Warrior Horsecarl. He has 32 points, speed 1, 2, 3 shoot, 4 fight, 4 survive, 1 armor, 3 victory points. He's got hailstorm pistols with weight of fire, rapid fire. He's got a forge hammer 1. He is a tactician 1. Tactician 1. And his special rule is too stubborn to die. You can spend an army special result 2. Try and remove a point of damage on the active model. Roll 3 dice, survive test 3. Success removes 1 damage token. Failure has no effect. Okay, this does not count as an action. So you got to get 3 out of 3 survive tests for that guy. All right. And he has a 4+ recon, which is very good. All right, here we go with the Chief Brocker. Chief Brocker is 26 points. 6 points cheaper than the Horsecarl. Speed 1 to 2, shoot of 5, fight of 3, survive 4, size 1, no armor, 1 victory point. He's got a burst pistol, rapid fire laser. He is Tactician 1. He's got Frenzy 1 and Tough, okay? So, not too bad. Let's look at his rule. He's got a 5+ recon dice. Strike it lucky. Spend an army special rule after a friendly miner picks up an item to discard that item. This does not count as an action. Pick a new item at random from the unused loot tokens. The model has found that item instead. This ability cannot be used if the model has activated a booby trap. Let's go to the Forge Guard Huskarl. Forge Guard Huskarl is 41 points. Speed 1 to 2, shoot 3+, fight 4+, survive 4+. Size 1, armor 1, 3 victory points. He's got a Hailstorm Rifle, which is an AP1. Forge Hammer, which is AP1. Tactician 2. Let's look at his recon test is 4+. Starforged Armor rule. Spend an Army Special rule when you resolve the potential damage of an attack against one of your models. You may reduce the AP value of the attack by 1 for every Army Special rule you spend in this matter. This does not count as an action. Okay, so basically it is his rule is almost the opposite of Bastion, where you would add a +1 armor. This one reduces the AP of that weapon. All right, so let's think about it. Okay, let's break it down. Okay, the Huskarl, too stubborn to die. It's a good rule, but you got to get 3 out of 3, man. 3 out of 3. All the other special rules, they're just giving, you know, not an action. Put the thing there, go. You know, the mutations you got to roll for, all the other stuff. This is a 3 out of 3. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. The Chief Brocker's rule is terrible. Strike it lucky. You switch the items. I just think the item switching is just terrible. Okay, the Rebs have it for whatever reason. I'm just not too crazy about it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, and the last one, the Forge Guard. He's 41 points. He's three victory points, which is the same as the Huskarl. He is 9 points more expensive than the Huskarl, Steel Warrior Huskarl. He's a Tactician too. This is where you got to be. This is where you got to go. The Starforged Armor helps you do it. If you're going to take him with a bunch of Forge Guard, they all have life support. You can reduce the AP of their models, so they're all Armor 1. The Forge Guard is Armor 2. Why the Forge Guard Huskarl is only Armor 1 makes no sense to me. But the Forge Guard, they're Armor 2, life support with the Starforged Armor. It's the way to go. I'm you know, this is my favorite faction, and the thing is that compared to all the other ones, the Forge Fathers got the least amount of good rules. Their special rules they're lacking. It's like, you know, they leave you wanting something, and it's not delivering. I understand the fluff. There was one other rule in one of the other betas that gave you ability to repair an item, and repair a vehicle. What if you don't take a vehicle in your strike force? I don't know. I like the Forge Guard Huskarl. I know he's 41 points, but he's definitely worth it. 3+ shoot, 4+ fight, 4+ survive, life support. Got the Forge Guard armor. You know, I know he's 3 victory points. His rule is the best. His recon rule is a 4. His stats are better than everybody else's, other than the other one who has the Steel Warrior Huskarl's got a +3, shoot 3+, because I guess you're going to take him with your Steel Warriors. But all in all, with the victory points and all that stuff, I mean, the Cheap Rocker is good, but his rule is terrible. The Strike It Lucky, I just don't like it. I just don't know. So my thing is the Forge Guard Huskarl is the way to go. Take this. The Forge Fathers themselves, don't get me wrong. I know I'm being a little negative here, and I'm a little hurt with my guys. The Forge Fathers themselves are point wise. All their points are according to what they're getting, and they're point costed correctly. They are, like I said, my favorite faction. They are expensive. You take an elite force, but they are very survivable, and they are very they're just tenacious, and you'll have them in there for a long time. The special rules, the only one that's good is the Forge Guard Huskarl. That's the one I would take. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that the beta changes, or when the rulebook comes out, there might be something better in there. But all in all, 2 out of 3 stinkers. All right, but like I said, take the Forge Guard Huskarls, but I'm still going to play my Forge Fathers. Okay, so that's the whole review of all the special rules, special faction rules. I really like what they've done. This gives a nice flavor to Deadzone. This is really where Deadzone needs to be, and I really, really enjoy the fact that this is something that we could put into our armies. What you need to do is think about what you're doing. I like the 5 things I looked at. I mean, that's when I broke it down. It helped me pick what I want to do with my armies. So when you're doing that, I think if you use the the victory points and how it fits into your army, what you're going to run and whatnot, that'll help a lot. This is the way Deadzone needs to go, okay? And if you're not playing Deadzone, you need to be playing Deadzone. And if you ever need any help or whatever, we discussed this on the Deadzone podcast. We have 2 episodes, 49 and 50, which I was happy to be part of. And we discuss all these rules. We go over this. I go over it with Jack and Rob. But the main thing is, some people, they don't make lists and whatever. Get in touch with me, Family Gamers 777 on Facebook. I got a Twitter account now. It's FOG777 Coach. Hit me up on Twitter or even just through YouTube. And I love making lists. I got tons and tons of lists. I put all the stuff on the Excel file, and I just let it go. All right. But all in all, this is working out. I'm really proud of what the Ronnie, Jake, and the rules committees, don't forget the rules committee, are doing with these rules. It makes sense, it fits in, and it's excellent. So that's it. I'm looking forward to doing some battle reports. We're looking forward to doing some more stuff. Deadzone's coming out. Our Kickstarter's coming soon. We're going to get those new models and the book and everything. It's just going to be awesome, exciting, phenomenal. Forget about it. All right? So, like I said, thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You kind of stay with us, be part of the family. But definitely leave some comments below. Need some comments. Need some back and forth. Rules committee guys, comment down below. I want to hear your comments, but I also want to comment to your comments. All right? So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.